Hello, class, and this is week number 3 of our economics class. And I just want to take some time to break down here in terms of what we're going to be doing this week. We are embarking chapter 2 of our textbook here, and we're going to be talking about the difference between independent and franchise owned establishments when it comes to restaurants. So, as you engage your material into chapter 2 of our textbook, the restaurant manager, that's our text that we're using, that is what we're going to be doing this week within the course as we enter into week number 3. So, here is the agenda for this week. We're going to have 3 discussion assignment questions here. The first one, we want to talk about debt ratios. And we want to talk about how do you figure out the debt ratio. With every business operation, of course, you want to minimize your debt ratio if you can to its lowest so that you can see a total outcome and the difference between what you would probably bring in terms of your gross profit and what it would be net after all of your deductions, after covering your overhead cost and then things pertaining to that matter. But however, though, we got to look at the startup process and we have to look at the amount of debt. So the textbook kind of talks about how you figure out debt ratios, and the first discussion assignment question is going to be some debt ratios and figuring those out. Examples of these are in your text. These are numbers that I actually came up with. So as you get into your readings, you will be able to find the formulas in terms of how to figure out debt ratios. So I gave you a few questions. This is really simple math, everybody. It's not calculus, nothing complicated in terms of trying to figure out the answers to these equations. So you have 3 questions in discussion assignment number 1 regarding what your debt ratios are. And the fourth one would be regarding initial investment. So what if you were a restaurateur? What if you were investing in someone else's business or restaurant as an individual or as an organization? What would be your ROI? That happens to be return of investment. And that's going to be the final formula within discussion assignment number 1. So, discussion assignment number 1 is going to be due on Wednesday night at midnight going into Thursday morning. So just like I did last week, when I'm going to break up these discussion question assignments, and they're going to be due different days throughout the course of the week. Moving on here would be week 3, as we're in week 3, discussion question assignment number 2. This is going to be a scenario. Okay, it's going to require some critical thinking on your behalf to be able to figure this out. Page 29 of your textbook, you'll find this scenario, and it's titled All in a Day's Work 2-1. So you're going to look at the scenario, and it's regarding an individual by the name of Sarah. She's going to want to start up a pizza place. What I want you all to do is I want you to read the scenario. You're going to answer the 2 questions at the end. And what you're going to do is, and I'm further elaborating on this, as you could see, I want everyone to think of the advantages and disadvantages of being independently owned in comparison of becoming part of a franchise. So what you're going to do is you're going to think about the disadvantages and advantages, and all this is thorough, and it kind of gives a breakdown of the advantages and disadvantages of being a franchise, as well as the advantages and disadvantages of being independently owned. I want you to give your response in 2 paragraphs. Give me at least 2 paragraphs in response to this scenario that you will find on page 29 of your textbook. So you're going to answer the 2 questions, and you're going to further elaborate on those 2 questions. That's what you're going to do. That's going to be due on Friday midnight going into Saturday morning. Friday midnight going into Saturday morning. So moving on to assignment number 3, your discussion question assignment. This is going to be kind of a reflective, and I want to be able to give at least one reflective assignment every week, not just have everything derived out of the textbook. I want us to be able to look at some things that's going to require our require our reflective thinking. What I like to do is I like to look at reflective thinking, and I like to say that it kind of runs parallel with maybe real world experience, real world expertise, things pertaining to that matter. So, in discussion question assignment number 3, okay, again, we're going to talk about franchise and independently owned restaurants. What I want everyone to do, I want you to reflect on your experiences being a consumer and eating at establishments that happen to be a franchise and also those independently owned. I'm thinking that everybody knows examples of franchises. Example, Kentucky Fried Chicken, Pizza Hut, McDonald's. Those happen to be franchise restaurants, whereas an independently owned restaurant would be something that's a sole proprietor, um, something that's owned by a single individual or group of individuals. But however, you don't have a chained establishment of the restaurant in other locations throughout the city or even other locations in different states. Just to kind of give a self example or a self explanation of what that means. What I want everybody to do, though, I want you to give a good experience and a bad experience of each one that you've encountered. So, give me a good experience and a bad experience of a franchise establishment that you dined in. Then also give me a good experience and a bad experience of an independently owned establishment that you happen to dine in. And what I want everybody to do is I want you all to further elaborate when it comes to, or what do you think? Give me your opinion. Is it an advantage to own and operate an independent or a franchise owned establishment? So when it comes to operational procedures, talk about that. And also, most of all, financial management, handling finances, minimizing debt. You want to maximize profit. You want to determine, okay, what your net income would be or your net profit, after you pay your overall overhead expenses. I want everyone to give me at least a 2-paragraph response to discussion question assignment number 3. So this will also be due. That will be Friday midnight going into Saturday morning. Of course, everybody, I have a PowerPoint right here that you can click on. And the PowerPoint is just some instructional material. I take terms and I take definitions like I do every week out the textbook. And what I do is I just put it in a PowerPoint, like terms, definitions, different things that we can actually look at that may be relative. It may be on the quiz. Um, Things we can, maybe on the midterm, as a matter of fact, though, that we'll have towards the midterm period. So hold on to these PowerPoints. Open them up, look at them, because I do create these PowerPoints as a form of lecture. And this is all part of the virtual learning process. As I would probably break this down if we happen to be teaching face to face within a classroom, through a PowerPoint and giving a brief lecture, I actually upload these PowerPoints within the current week shell. So it kind of gives again terms and definitions that are based on chapter 2 of the textbook. So that's what we have going on for week number 3. Now, what I want to do is this, and you probably already saw the news feed that I put up a little bit earlier today. It is regarding participation. And this doesn't apply to every student, but just a gentle reminder, everybody, that your participation, don't miss a week and then, of course, come back and engage in another week. And the reason why I say that is because that does eventually add up. I know everybody's probably looking at the point structure in terms of how things are graded. And of course, there are some things within this course that are more heavily weighted in terms of the grade than others. But the one thing you do not want to do, you do not want to miss a week when it comes to participating class. So those discussion question assignments, do them by all means. And another thing that you want to do is you want to definitely meet the deadline. And I think I kind of referenced this last week. For example, if an assignment is due Wednesday midnight going into Thursday, you want to have that assignment completed by Wednesday midnight. Same example goes for if an assignment happens to be due on Friday midnight, you want to have that assignment posted by Friday at midnight because there will be point deductions. And I just kind of want to give a gentle reminder for the entire class regarding that in terms of how our course is going to go. I talked about this in the beginning week, and I did go back and reference it again from last week, and I'm doing it again as we are in week number 3. So remember, your participation is vital. It's like a heartbeat. You want to do it every week. Now, it doesn't have to be daily. What I recommend is at least 3 days out of the week, and not just course, but also your other courses that you may be having to engage in virtual. You want 3 days a week where you are logging in and you are doing your work. Okay, because we monitor login statuses and things pertaining to that matter. So again, gentle reminder, I know that we're all busy, and I know that all of you all are young adults and you have jobs, you have other courses, you're trying to juggle everything together. Of course, you want to please everything in terms of the curriculum that's set forth in all of your courses, and then you want to adhere to your instructors as well. I do understand I'm not the only instructor that you have as you are going through and enduring this semester. So just a reminder again, everybody, your participation each week is important. Okay, so continue to work on section 1 of your final paper that's going to be due February the 13th at midnight. Section 1 of the final paper. Continue to work on that. Section 1. Okay, and I will be seeing everybody next week. That's going to conclude things. Remember my office hours? They are 2 p.m. to 7 p.m., 7 days a week. You can reach me by cell phone. It's posted here on D2L. I will welcome you call if you happen to run into any complications or difficulties. Okay? All right. So it is approximately 1:01 p.m. Central Standing Time here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. It is 2:01 p.m. as many of you all are on the East Coast. I want everyone to have a great week and enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Take care.